We'll walk you
Right.
through the process. We'll help you get to the core of who you are as an agency. What's your messaging strategy? What's your cadence? What's your frequency? What's your rhythm? How professional are you? How casual are you? Do you say hi, hello, or hey? That's all in your messaging strategy, and that has to be consistent. And that's part of that understanding who you are to help you provide the solution, not make the product fit you. We're going to find a solution that fits. Products are agnostic.
I talk about agents all the time. They're so focused on selling a product when all they have to do is solve a problem. That's it. And when you solve a problem, what do? You don't go in with the solution in mind first, not if you're a good problem solver. You ask diagnostic questions to figure out exactly what's happening to triangulate where you're needed most. And then you figure out from a prioritization standpoint, creating the hierarchy of when you're going to attack these things.
You know, we actually just had that. I'm going to change this to commercial a little bit. We had that same conversation on our agency this morning. Part of our smart cycle process, we went through the entire process of reaching out, prospecting, and going through the whole nine. The client said maybe later. Randomly on a drip campaign email, she responded, said, "Here's all my stuff. My renewal's this day. Put something together." We put it all together. We asked all the questions. We have a proposal. And talking with our producer this morning, she's like, "Okay, I got the numbers ready." I said, "Great. They're irrelevant until after we have these conversations. Can you answer these questions?" And she said, "No." So great. So when we do this, the last half of the conversation is about the product and the premium. The first half of the conversation is all about what their process is and all the indications of what these numbers represent. And we take that same conversation from the insurance and the commercial side, and even, commercial specifically, because that's where our agency is focused. But we take that same process and we deployed it. Actually, last week we were in Kansas City. I spent the weekend with 4 other agency owners, and we showed them how to automate their own tech stacks and how to do these things for themselves. And we watched them and we asked the questions: why are you doing it this way? What's next in the process? Why are you doing that process this way? And you just saw each and every agency owner, you just saw their mind click. There was a point, I mean, there were tears. Some agents cried, some agents got mad, some slammed their laptops down because they couldn't get it. Maybe I'm a terrible teacher, which is why Dan's here, because I'm definitely a doer, not a teacher. But we watched these agents go through the process and understand why they were doing it. And we just kept asking the question, but why, but why, but why? And they finally got down to the core of what they were looking for. And when you can understand that core, you just saw the light click, literally just this physical light, shining above their heads, that all of a sudden they were able to take the next steps and knew exactly where they wanted to go with it. Whether they had the capability to do it themselves or not, that's where we come in. We'll walk you through the process. We'll help you get to the core of who you are as an agency. What's your messaging strategy? What's your cadence? What's your frequency? What's your rhythm? How professional are you? How casual are you? Do you say hi, hello, or hey? That's all in your messaging strategy, and that has to be consistent. And that's part of that understanding who you are to help you provide the solution, not make the product fit you. We're going to find a solution that fits. Products are agnostic.
Yeah, I agree. I think, that again, that holds true for pretty much any sales role, man. Like my first job was in sporting goods. Okay. Not necessarily the bicycle industry, but sporting goods. So similar to what you did, Patrick, when you got out of the military, but I started at 14 years old, and my job was to put the film letters on the back of t-shirts with the last name and the number. And then I got to graduate to screen printing when I got older, but I always, and that was my work in the back, but I always worked the sales floor too. And that's where I learned how to deal with the average person that comes in. And sometimes I was good and sometimes I wasn't as good, but because of the training and because I know how the different brands work, it's funny because I know now when I go into almost any store where someone is going to come help you, unless it's a high-end place, I know which brands are running promotions for the month because it's the stuff the salespeople are pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, I can remember very specifically when we had the dream team, the original dream team played in the Olympics back in the early 90s, 1992. We had the Charles Barkley shoes were ugly. They were the worst. Like of all of the special shoes they came out for the dream team, we were hung out to dry with the size run on the Barkleys. We didn't sell a single one. I actually kind of liked them, so I cut a deal with my boss and I said, I bet I can move every single pair of those Barkleys at retail price over the course of this weekend. If I do, I get a pair in my size for free. He's like, I'll take that bet. There's no way in the world you can do it. Hey, I know you guys like this, but have you seen the Barkleys? Everybody's been coming here asking for them, and we actually have quite a few sizes left. If you've been in other places looking for this, you may want to have me check your size. And I'd sell them up to the Barkleys needless to say, I got the Barkleys, right? But
awesome.
that's how salespeople who aren't seasoned are trained to think. They think with what's going to benefit me, what's going to get the money in my pocket, or what's going to get me to get this deal closed and move on to the next one as quickly as I can. And that's why I feel like you hear a lot of people griping about going through the renewal process and having retention issues and everything else. I've always heard that retention starts at onboarding. As soon as you onboard a new client, that's when your retention starts. And I just don't think a lot of people think that way.